Hello, welcome back to the reading of the poem of the Man God, written by Maria Valtorta, Volume 3. Chapter 370, Part 1, the Thursday before Passover, the evening, 27th January 1946. The followers of Jesus certainly do not stand out for their courage. The news brought by Judas has the same effect as the apparition of a hawk over a threshing floor crowded with chicks, or the presence of a wolf on the edge of a cliff close to a flock of sheep. The faces of most of them, particularly of the men, show signs of fear, or at least of anxiety. I think that many of them are under the impression that a sword or a lash is already pressing against their skin, or that they will be thrown into dungeons awaiting trial. And that is probably the least penalty of which they are thinking. The women are not so excited. More than anything else, they are worried about their sons or husbands, whom they advise to steal away in little groups through the country. Mary of Magdala rebels against such waves of exaggerated fear. Oh, how many gazelles there are in Israel! Are you not ashamed of trembling thus? I told you that in my house you will be safer than in a stronghold. So come, and upon my word I can assure you that nothing will happen to you. If in addition to those mentioned by Jesus, there are other people who feel that they will be safer in my house, let them come. There are enough beds for a century. Come on, make up your minds, instead of fainting with fear. I only asked Joanna to send her servants after us with foodstuffs, because there is not enough in the house for everybody, and it is now evening. A good meal is the best cure for a faint heart. She is not only imposing in her white dress, but her beautiful eyes are also quite ironical, and she looks down on the frightened group crowding into Joanna's hall. I will send them at once. You may go. Jonathan will follow you with the servants, and I will come as well, because I want to have the pleasure of following the master without being afraid. I can assure you so much so that I will bring the children with me, says Joanna. She withdraws to give the necessary instructions, while the vanguard of the frightened army look cautiously out of the main door. And when they see that there is nothing to be afraid of, they dare go out into the street and set out, followed by the others. The group of the virgins is in the center, immediately after Jesus, who is in the first lines. The women are behind the virgins, and then the less brave ones, whose backs are protected by Mary of Lazarus, who has joined the Roman ladies, as they have decided not to part from the Master so early. Then Mary of Lazarus runs ahead to say something to her sister, and the 7 Roman ladies are left with Sarah and Marcella, who are also in the rear guard by order of Mary, also with a view to letting the 7 Roman ladies pass unnoticed. Joanna arrives quickly, holding the children by the hand, and behind her there is Jonathan and some servants laden with bags and baskets. They bring up the rear, but no one pays attention to the little group, as the streets are crowded with people going home or to their camps, and in the faint light faces are not easily recognized. Mary of Magdala is now in the first line with Joanna, Anastasica, and Eliza, and she leads the guests to her house through narrow side streets. Jonathan is walking quite close to the Roman ladies, to whom he speaks as if they were the servants of the richest women disciples. Claudia takes advantage of the situation to say to him, "Man, please go and call the disciples who brought the news. Tell him to come here." Call the disciple who brought the news. Tell him to come here, but speak to him in such a way as not to draw attention of other people. Go. Her dress is a plain one, but her attitude is unintentionally imposing, typical of a person accustomed to giving orders. Jonathan opens his eyes wide, trying to see through her lowered veil who is the woman speaking to him thus, but he cannot see the flashing eyes of the imperious woman. He must realize that the woman who has spoken to him is not a servant, and he bows to her before departing. He reaches Judas of Kerioth, who is talking animatedly to Stephen and Timotheus, and he pulls his sleeve. "What do you want?" "I have something to tell you." "Tell me." "No, come with me. You are wanted." For alms, I think. The excuse is a good one, and it is accepted peacefully by Judas's companions, and enthusiastically by Judas himself, who goes back quickly with Jonathan. He is now at the rear line. "Woman, this is the man you wanted," says Jonathan to Claudia. "Thank you for serving me," she replies, with her veil still lowered. She then addresses Judas. "Please stop for a moment and listen to me." Judas, who has heard her refined way of speaking, and has seen two wonderful eyes through her thin veil, and perhaps feels there is the prospect of a great adventure, agrees without any objection. The group of the Roman ladies parts. Plautina and Valeria remain with Claudia, and the others go on. Claudia looks around. She sees the lonely little street in which they have stopped, and with her beautiful hand, she removes her veil, uncovering her face. Judas recognizes her, and after a moment's astonishment, he bows, greeting her with a mixture of Jewish gestures and a Roman word, "Domina." "Yes, it is I. Stand up and listen. You love the Nazarene. You are anxious about his welfare. You are right. He is a virtuous man and must be defended. We respect him as a great, just man. The Jews do not respect him. They hate him, I know. Listen. Understand properly what I say. Remember it well and act accordingly. I want to protect him. Not like the lewd girl of a little while ago, but honestly and virtuously. When your love and your sagacity make you understand that there is danger for him, come or send someone. Claudia dominates over Pontius. Claudia will obtain protection for the just one. Is that clear?" "Perfectly clear, Domina. May our God protect you. If at all possible, I will come myself. But how can I get to you?" "Always ask for Albula Domitilla. That is another name I use. But no one is amazed if she speaks to Jews, because she takes care of my liberality. They will think that you are a client. Will that humiliate you?" "No, Domina. It is an honor to serve the Master and have your protection." "Yes, I will protect you. I am a woman, but I belong to the Cloudy family. I am more powerful than all the mighty ones in Israel, because Rome is behind me. In the meantime, take this. It's our offering for the poor of the Christ. But I would like to remain among the disciples this evening. Arrange that for me, and you will be protected by Claudia." The words of the patrician have a miraculous effect on a man like the Iscariot. He is in his seventh heaven. He dares to ask her, "But will you really help him?" "Yes, I will. His kingdom deserves to be established, because it is a kingdom of virtue. It is welcome against the foul waves that cover present kingdoms and disgust me. Rome is great, but the rabbi is by far greater than Rome. We have eagles on our banners and the proud monogram, but he will have genii and his holy name on his. Rome and the earth will be great, really great, when they put that name on their banners, and his sign will be on standards, temples, arches, and columns." Judas is astonished, ecstatic. In a dream, he tosses the heavy purse given to him, and does so mechanically, nodding assent all the time. "Now let us go and join them. We are allied, are we not? Allied to protect your master and the king of honest souls." She lowers her veil and nimbly runs off to reach the group ahead of her, followed by the other ladies and by Judas, who is panting, not so much because of his physical effort as for what he has heard. The last disciples are entering Lazarus's building when they reach them. They go in quickly, and the heavy iron door is closed with a loud noise of latches bolted by the keeper. A solitary lamp held by the keeper's wife hardly lights up the white square hall of Lazarus's house. The house is obviously uninhabited, although it is well kept and tidy. Mary and Martha lead the guests into a large room, certainly used for banquets, the walls of which are covered with precious cloths, showing their arabesque decorations as chandeliers are lit, and lamps are placed on sideboards, on precious chests laid around the walls or on the tables, which are on one side ready to be used, but which have not been used for a long time. Mary orders them to be brought to the center of the room and laid for supper with the foodstuff that Joanna's servants are taking out of bags and baskets and putting on the sideboards. Judas takes Peter to one side and whispers something in his ear. I see Peter open his eyes wide and shake his hand as if he had burned his fingers while he exclaims, "By thunders, what are you saying?" Yes, look, just imagine. We no longer need be afraid. There is no longer any reason to be so depressed. But that's too much. But what did she say? That she will really protect us? May God bless her. But which one is she? The tall, slender one, wearing a turtle dove dress. She is looking at us. Peter looks at the tall woman, whose face is regular and grave, and whose eyes are kind but imperious. And how did you manage to speak to her? Did you not feel? No, not at all. And yet you hated their contact. Like me, like everybody. Yes, but I overcame that feeling for the Master's sake, as I overcame my desire to part company with my old companions of the temple. Oh, everything for the Master. My mother and you all think that I am shady. You recently blamed me for the friends I have. But if I did not cultivate their friendship, which is very painful to me, I would not learn many things. There is no sense in closing our eyes or sealing our ears with wax, lest the world should come into us through our eyes and or ears. When one is in an enterprise like ours, one's eyes and ears must be absolutely free and watchful. We must watch over him, his wealth, his mission, and the foundation of this blessed kingdom. Many of the apostles and some disciples have approached them and are listening, nodding assent. In fact, no one can say that Judas is wrong in what he is saying. Peter, being honest and humble, admits it and says, "You are quite right. Forgive me for my reproaches. You are worth more than I am, and you know what to do. Oh, let us go and tell the Master, his mother and yours. She was so worried." Because evil tongues have hinted. But be silent for the time being. Later, see? They are going at the table, and the Master is beckoning to us to go. This has been a reading from the poem of the Man-God, written by Marie Valtorta, Volume 3, Chapter 370, Part 1, the Thursday before Passover, the evening. Thank you for listening. I will see you tomorrow. May God bless you, and may peace be with you.